What's going on, guys? We are back with the how to build a $10,000 bankroll at 1-3 challenge, recording every single hand I play. Today I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to show you guys how I actually study. It's been asked since since I made the channel. So I'm going to go through what my day-to-day kind of looks like in terms of studying. Wake up, shower, cold brew, got breakfast going, got some eggs and steak over there. Boom, boom. Gonna get that ready. Then we're gonna head to the computer and we're gonna watch some training videos for a bit, which I do basically every morning. So let's hop into that. All right, guys, so here we are. I'll show you this. Got breakfast, training videos, and then these are my notes for this course that I've been through. So yeah, I'll sit here, I'll watch about half an hour to an hour of videos, depending on the length of the next module, take my notes, and then after that, I will show you. Let me finish up breakfast, watch a few videos, I'll be right back. All right, guys, breakfast is done. I've been through the training module, got my notes done. Now, I have some questions that aren't answered in the training module, so we need to find answers for them, try to figure it out. I personally use GTO Wizard. It's just very easy. My computer can't really handle PO Solver. So here are the questions we have up here. Number one, how much does check raise frequency go down versus the button open, hijack open, or under the gun open? 2, do we raise top pairs in position? 3, which kickers do we most want to raise and why? And finally 4, how do we play across turns after check raising? So first, we're going to find out how much does check raise frequency go down versus button, hijack, and under the gun. So this is under the gun open, big blind defend, 9-3 deuce with a flush draw. We can see here once they go for the small bet here, which most of their hands want to do. They have some overbetting as well, but mostly small bets. I'll just show you here. They're betting pot for 17%, 66% for 15%. You could probably just simplify it to 80% with 30% of your range, and then range bet the rest for 33%, or you can just simplify for 33%. Like the EV difference of these hands is so small. A hand like Ace-7 suited, like the EV difference is nothing, right? So you can just simplify to a range bet. But anyways, that's going to be on the point. Big blind is check raising here 16% of the time, mostly going with a 50% raise size. This is versus hijack. We're still raising, this time 17% versus the previous 16. So maybe 1% more versus hijack. And then finally versus button, we are raising 7 plus 3 plus 3, 14% plus a bit here, so 15%, which is actually down from hijack, which is not what I was expecting. So I kind of dived in. Why is that? And it's just because big blind is defending so much more versus button than under the gun. All right, so our range is already stronger. We already have less combos, so we just check raise fewer hands in the mix. So versus our top pairs here, we're kind of just check raising the same versus under the gun versus hijack versus big blind. So that kind of answers it. We don't have to worry too much about position, but that does come into play more on turns and rivers. Answer number 2. Do we raise top pairs in position? So here we have the same flop, 9-3 deuce, hijack raise, we flatted on the button. Hijack goes for a small bet, button. We are still check raising some top pairs here. They're making up a good portion of our check raise range, 9-6, 9-7, 9-8, ace-9, king-9, queen-9 a little bit, and then jack-9 and 10-9 not so much. So yes, we do still raise top pairs in position. Third, which kickers do we most want to raise and why? Now, I'm not going to go into a huge deep dive into this with all the solves and everything, but I will just tell you which ones we do want to raise and why. So you see here, under the gun raise, we flatted the big blind, we get the 9-3 deuce, they go for the small bet, and we want to check raise. Now you can see here, we're using these low kickers like 9-4, 9-5, 9-6, 9-8s make it in the mix a lot, and then ace-9 a lot. Not so much 9-7, 9-8. This is due to card removal. We want our opponent to have like 8-7 of diamonds here that's going for a bet that will fold to our raise, so that's why we want to unblock those. 9-6, 9-5, 9-4 under the gun's not opening, 6x, 5x, 4x, so we want to check raise those very aggressively. And then how come 10-9, jack-9, queen-9, and king-9 aren't check raising often, but ace-9 is? The reason is ace-9 coolers all other top pairs, so we want to get a big raise in right now. Now king-9, queen-9, jack-9, 10-9 don't want to re-raise because you see here, if we go for a call and the turn comes down, say the queen of spades, we check it over. I doubt we're doing any leading here. But yeah, so we check it over. And now under the gun, look at this. They're going to be betting all their queen X, their king queen, their ace queen, their ace queen suited, king queen suited, king queen jack suited, queen 10 suited, queen 9 suited. All these hands are going to be betting turn for value, right? Now we get to cooler them massively when we have queen 9. Same thing when a king comes, when a jack comes, when a 10 comes. We want those overcards to come. We want our opponent to improve to top pair, top kicker, or top pair, good kicker. They're going to continue barreling, and we get to cooler them for a massive pot when we hit 2 pair. 4, how do we play across turns, which was the hardest part for me when I was learning how to raise top pairs, and it's not easy. So here we go. We have a same board again. We have the hijack open. Big blind is defended. Flop 9-3 deuce. We check it. Hijack goes for the small bet. We go for the small raise of 33%. The reason this is small versus hijack is because we don't need a big raise. We're clearing out hands like queen jack, queen 10. Against hijack, I guess we'll have some like king 8 suited, stuff like that. So we don't need a big raise to target those hands. So 33%. Hijack now calls, and we get a king of diamonds on the turn. Not a great card. You know, ace king got there, king queen got there. It's getting a little bit thin to bet now. So I'm going to assume most of our range wants to check. And let's take a look. Big blind. Yeah, we're doing 73% checking after check raising the flop. An insane amount. And if we're betting, it's either block, or B125. So an overbet on the turn. And the one overbet are, it's always this corner. It's always this corner of like 6-5, 3 deuce, 3-3, everything all around here. And then a lot of our queen X is gonna go for the big bet. We're blocking king queen, I guess. And then ace highs are a little bit too strong to bluff. Yeah, looks about right. So we check it over. Our opponent is probably gonna go for a bet very frequently here. Take a look. Yeah, they're betting like 40% of the time. Some very big bets, 83%, 125. So say it goes to 83%. What do we do now with our top pairs? And so this one was extremely important for me. We're actually folding quite a bit of top pairs here. 9-5 suited, 9-4 suited, just straight hitting the muck, which was really... like I lost quite a bit of money just calling this too often when I first started implementing check raising top pairs into my game. And yeah, because the reason is you're check raising top pairs. The reason for it is you just deny equity from a bunch of overcards that are never going to bluff the turn, right? Ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10. They're all going to just check back the turn. They think they have enough showdown value. They're still beating like 10-8 of hearts, etc. So by check raising, we get some immediate value in. But when we check raise, is ace jack, ace queen really going to bet the turn? No, they think they have enough showdown value. So when our opponents do bet, and once you node lock everything into what you think your opponents are doing, you find out quickly that you're going to be folding a lot more top pairs than the solver suggests in reality. But anyways, that is how I study, guys. You always need to find your own way, what works for you, etc., to be able to get a nice study plan in. This is usually like 1 to 2 hours every morning. I'll jump in here. And then finally, I will set up a drill on GTO Wizard. So go drills, click on new up here, and we'll go MTT, chip EV, 100 bigs. And then we'll find a spot on the flop where single raise pot, hero any, GTO any, go to hand, board any. And since I'm studying check raising top pairs, you don't really do it on ace X or king X boards too often. So we usually go like a 10A, 4. I think that's not the best board. We're going to see some overbets from imposition. And then go. And so we'll just go like this so that we have all these 10x. Right? And then from there, we can just drill and see how to play. And then we'll play out the hand. And then from there, do about like half an hour of this just to get the reps in. But that brings me to my next point, guys. You need to find good training material. And I am partnering up with Run It Once to bring you guys a 1-hour seminar to promote Raise to 10, 3 p.m. Pacific time on June 6th. I will put all the details in the description. as well as I'll pin a comment. If you guys want to join, you can sign up. It'll be a free seminar, 1 hour. Come in, jump in the chat, ask me some questions. I'll have some points ready to go. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be sweet. So join me then. I'll see you guys there. And now, for the next part, what do I do after this? We head on down to the casino and try to put some of these moves into action, try to work them out. And then I write down notes on my phone and I'll come back and I'll play some more GTO Wizard and see what I did wrong, see some spots that didn't really make sense because it's a new concept. Your win rate's going to go down as you apply new concepts. And then once you grasp them, that's when it starts to shoot up again. So that is it for me, guys. Let's go play some cards. We're going to head on down to Grand Villa, play some 1-3, $500 buy-in. Let's go raise some top pairs on the flop. See you guys there. All right, folks. Thank you for sitting through that. Now let's get into the poker hands. Your patience will be well worth it. This was the most action-packed session of this series so far. So let's get into it. The face cam is back. It's there. I totally forgot about it, but now it's back. Our very first hand, we got 8-7 of clubs. There's a raise to 15 from the hijack. Could 3-bet sometimes, but it's a little bit big, and I'm just sitting down, so let's just call, and we're going to take a flop heads up. Comes down ace 7-3 all diamonds. We got middle pair. Not much going on. We check. Face a small bet of $15. Nah, doesn't feel great, but gonna toss in the call here, and we head to the turn, which is no help to us, the king of spades. Check it over once again, and we face another half pot bet. Time to just let our hand go now, I think, so we fold. Slight improvement here from 8-7 suited up to the pocket aces. Player to my right has limped. This player is extremely loose. He just called a check jam on the river with like 9-5, which was like fourth pair, and just called up for like $300 against a straight. So very happy to go ahead and isolate him. We bump it on up to $15. Button makes the call, and the limper folds. What? This dude called 9-5 suited for like $30 last hand. How bad could his hand be that he limp folds? Anyways, heads up to a flop. It comes down 4-4 deuce. We do have the ace of spades, which is something. On these very low boards, when you're out of position facing a pocket pair heavy range, you want to be checking a lot of your overpairs and going for the check raise. You're trying to pile in as much money as possible against their 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, even possibly 10s before things get messy on the turn. So that's how I play my overpairs here. I go ahead and check, and my opponent checks behind. So we know at this point he's basically drawing dead once he checks back the flop. Turn comes down, the jack of diamonds. Gonna start trying to get some money in. I throw in a smallish bet, $25, like 2/3 pot, and he just folds. All right, on to our third hand now. We got pocket fours, and the same player from our first hand has raised it up to $15. After a couple orbits sitting down, I've noticed this player is pretty crazy. He is wild. He's getting in there. He just stacked someone with like a 3x overbet shove on the turn, and he had kings on like a very, very scary board. So he's definitely got an image of just going after it, and like a reg paid him off for like 3x pot in the turn. So he's definitely been going crazy, and we've seen him going crazy. Anyways, I got fours here in the small blind. I think I'm big blind, so I just decided to call. Big blind folds. We are heads up to the flop. Guys, we need to hit a 4, so I'll take a rip on my Hong Tai. Just hit a 4 against a crazy guy. Boom. That's how easy it is. Queen 6-4 rainbow. Check it on over. Love to see it. He fires out a little half pot bet of $15. Never raising against this player. He barrels too frequently. If I did want to check raise, it'd be hands of more vulnerable equity. Something like maybe ace 6, king 6, pocket 7s, queen jack, queen 10, those kind of hands. But with a set, we just want to trap. So I toss in the call. We head to the turn. It is a pretty good one. The 10 of spades. Doesn't change much. I check it over. Very happy to see him fire out yet another bet. It's kind of like the same as the first hand. Half pot, but this time he has $3 on the side. So he's going to toss those in as well. $33. He does cover me here, so could consider raising, but I think best course of action is just to call here. Keep his range wide, let him bluff. You know, if he just has like ace 9 of clubs, he's dead. He's never calling a raise, and he's so loose, so aggressive. So we're going to continue trapping, folks. We call off to the river. We river quads. The 4 of spades rolls off. Never leading here. I check it over. It gives it some thought. Gives it some more thought. And the most beautiful thing ever happens. He overbets $200. Yes! Yes! I check my cards, make sure I haven't misread my hand.
Give it a little bit of thought. Pretend like I'm thinking about raising, I don't know, queen 10 or something. Or maybe I've got like ace 10 with the ace of spades going for a raise. And after a little bit more thought, we go all in. My opponent does not snap fold. That's very, very, very good news. And then he starts talking. How can I fold this hand? How can I fold this hand? This hand is unfoldable. Guys, we're going to get our first double up in like 3 months. It's been a while. It's been a while since we got a full double up. He's giving us some thought. The crazy guy has a hand. We have quads. And finally, after about 2 minutes of tanking, he folds the nut flush. What? I couldn't get paid by the nut flush? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. But silver lining, we get even more money. We get $270 for the high hand bonus. Oh my goodness, man. How hard is it to get paid in this game? Go to the next one. Okay, we got kind of an amalgamation of our last two hands. We had aces, then fours. Now we got ace four suited. Cool. I'm bumping on up to $15 over a limp. We get the small blind to call as well as a limper. So we're going three ways to this flop, which comes down 10, 9, 3, 1 spade, 2 clubs. Small blind, one of the tightest players I've ever seen at this table, goes ahead and leads up for $25. Even if he has, I'm not doing anything fancy. We're just gonna fold. He's very tight. Why am I trying to make someone like that fold top pair? We're not doing it. We're too early in the session. Okay, guys, I deleted the wrong recording for this. I 3-bet ace jack to $50, got 4-bet shoved on and folded. And then when I went to delete the footage of this hand, I accidentally deleted the ace jack hand. So we're going to leave this one in that I didn't even play. But we got under the gun plus 2 raised to $20. This player has been limping every single hand and is now just busts out a 7x raise. And we look down at a pretty nice ace 7 of clubs in the low jack. Guys, just toss that straight in the muck. Most of the value comes from flush over flushing people with these like weaker suited aces. And we're never going to flush over flush him, right? This guy's got a range of like jacks plus ace, queen, ace, king. So there's just no way we can flush over flush him. Just, yeah, get out of there when you've got like 25, 30% equity. Yeah. Anyways, on the next one. All right, on to the next hand. Guys, we're 8-handed, and I open up under the gun with the pocket threes to $10, and I get all 7 players to make the call. Oh my goodness, 8-way flop with a pocket pair. Can we hit a set? It comes down. So close. King, 9, deuce, 2 clubs, and a diamond. I'm just going to check, and action checks all the way through somehow. Turn comes down the 7 of clubs. I see no sense in betting. Once again, just going to check, and action checks all the way through. We head to the river, and it comes down the ace of spades. Consider bluffing at it, but I think going for a check raise might make a bit more sense, and then I can feel out their sizing. So I'm going to start with a check. Big blind checks. I check. Middle position now puts in a tiny bet of $15. Beautiful. He's going to get everyone to fold. We don't have to pay $1 to see if they actually have something. When it gets back to us, we just check raise to 120, take it down every single time. Unfortunately, the tightest player at the table now puts in a check, just a raise up to $35. The pot is $130, a $20 raise. Folds back to me. I'm not bluffing this guy ever. I fold. Middle position, snap folds and shows the ace of diamonds. It's so hard to get paid at this casino. My goodness. All right, picking up another pretty good hand. We were very card alive for this session. There's a limp raised to 15 and a caller. We decide to go for the squeeze with the ace queen offsuit here. Look over his stack. He's only got about 300, so I don't want to go like a full 5x here. So I'm going to size down just a little bit. I still want him to call ace jack, ace 10 suited, those kind of hands, queen jack suited, king queen suited. We want all those hands in the mix. So bumping on up to $65. He does make the call and cutoff does get out of the way. So we're going heads up to a flop. Comes out all right. It's jack 5-3 rainbow. We obviously don't connect, but very tough for him to connect as well. Going to kick things off with a small bet here. We just get so many folds, and $55 is my wager. He gives it some thought. Gives it a lot of thought, actually. He takes a very long time here. Like, I think like a full minute or a minute and a half, which is quite odd, facing a 1/3 bet on a jack 5-3. Like, what complications are there here? You have a jack, or you have a pocket pair. Maybe you got an ace high, but beyond that, I don't know what takes this long. So now I'm very worried. I think he's got, when he calls, I'm going to shut it down. I think he's got aces, jacks, and ace jack, maybe king jack. Like those top pairs I just kind of think about raising. But I really think he's nutted here, so I'm going to shut this one down. Turn comes down to 9 of spades. We don't improve to anything anyways. I'm going to go ahead and check it, and he doesn't waste too much time. Shoves all in, so I'm pretty sure I was correct here. I don't think he's ever shoving in tens here or ace king here. So anyway, both those hands beat us anyways. But he's not shoving in ace 10, let's say. Anyways, not much we can do. We fold, and we're unfortunately about back to even now after managing to cooler nut flush versus quads with just 2 bad 3-bet pots. Yeah. All right, picking up another premium here. We got a raise to 13 under the gun, and then somebody does like a weird min raise up to $25 to his left, to my right. I looked at an ace king offsuit, great spot. I'm gonna go for the cold 4-bet. And once again, don't want to size up too big. We still want to keep in those ace queens, those ace jacks, those king queens, etc. We don't want them to fold, right? We want to call. We want to play his pot in position with a very strong hand. So I decide on smaller than 3x. I just go $70. Folds round to the under the gun player. Tanks for a bit, does fold, and the under the gun +2. Snap folds face up, ace queen, goddamn suited. What is happening? Ace queen suited? You don't want to peel a flop? Is this 1-3? They're folding nut flushes. They're folding ace queen suited. I'm on a table full of super crushers. Oh, boy. All right, folks. Now we're going to enter a stage where I am just going to play as aggressive and loose as possible because my opponents are being absolute nits. So we're going to open up our open raise range. We're going to start bluffing a lot more post flop, and especially a lot more multi-way. So this leads us to this hand. We got king jack offsuit in the big blind. There's a goddamn button straddle on. Small blind is limped. We're going to raise it on up to $20. We do get 3 callers. And the middle position is the player who is very, very, very tight. I won't say tight, very like a nit, right? Anyways, 4 of us to the flop. It comes down pretty good. It's ace, queen, queen, 2 diamonds and a heart. Normally I wouldn't be c-betting this, but at this table, 100% c-betting this with this combo especially. $20 does not have to be big. Only the very tight player makes the call and the other 2 fold. Off the turn, and it comes down at the 5 of diamonds. So once its opponent calls, he either has an ace, a queen, or a flush draw. He's not floating king, jack, king 10, jack 10. On this turn, my opponent has top pair, trips, and flushes. But fuck it, people are folding up flushes. Let's just fucking go for it. No, I'm kidding. I think he raises a queen quite often. If he's got a flush, he's got a flush, whatever. But I think most of his holding is just going to be an ace. And he is not going to call an ace. So, people aren't calling nut flushes. He's not going to call an ace. I'm all in. I'm all in. What's he going to do about it? That's it. We're all in, guys. We're bluffing. We got the jack of diamonds. We do have some backup if he does have a queen, if he does have the flush. There's no way he's calling with an ace, though. We do send him into the tank. And once he starts tanking, we know it's going to be good. Unless he's like nit rolling us with like queen jack of spades or something. That would be gross. But after a little bit, get it through. All right. Picking up a pretty nice $120 pot there, which is king high. Alrighty, folks, on to the next hand. We have a raise to 15 from the middle position. I look down at a suited ace on the button, decide to flat, and we end up going heads up to a flop. It comes out beautiful, guys. We're running hot today, despite being up $100. I'm still calling it running hot. I'm feeling good today. It comes down 6, 5, deuce, 2 diamonds, and a spade. We got the nut flush draw. We also got a gutter. And happy to see my opponent put in a bet of $15. Consider raising, but do I really want to fold out like a better ace high here? Like ace jack offsuit, or just, you know, let him maybe catch up a bit, can bluff him later. Hand just feels a bit too strong to be raising. I just want to play this in position, so I make the call. Turn is beautiful. It's a beautiful jack of diamonds. We get there right away. And very happy to see my opponent continue betting here. Puts in a bet of $35. For this size, I think he doesn't really have too many flushes, but I do think he's got quite a few overpairs, some ace jacks now. Maybe some like jack 10, queen jack with a diamond. I expect to have quite a few overpairs here with a diamond. That's what I'm mostly thinking. So those hands are drawing dead. Pretty much every hand is drawing dead by the set. So we're just going to set the trap. We make the call. Off to the river, and we improve to a straight. Just kidding, our flush is still good. Very, very, very happy to see my opponent stick in yet another bet. $80. into the middle. Look over his stack, and guys, I don't want to go for all of it. He's got, what would this be, $330 total. So I think we're gonna leave him like $100 behind because I think he's just gonna fold aces or like kings with a diamond if I shove. So after giving a bit of thought, I think I'm gonna size down, go a little bit less than 3x here, not be too greedy, and just try to get a crying call from like kings, queens, king jack, queen jack, those type of hands. So I raise on up to $225, and we send our opponent deep into the tank. Folks, just look at this. Look at this tank. You're not going to believe what this guy has after he tanks this long. We're at now like 10 seconds. Still tanking. Go ahead, guys. You know what he has, right? You know what he has. All right. I think this is a comes of video. My opponent makes the call. He has king, queen of diamonds. He has a second nut flush, and he thought about folding. I didn't even get all the money. It was nut flush versus second nut flush at a 1-3 table. My opponent almost folded. Oh my god. I'm over here trying to get called with kings with a diamond, and my man's trying to fold king, queen of diamonds. It's so hard to get paid. I'm running so good, but they're just folding everything. All right, guys. Bluffing frequency's going up even more. We're winding it up. It's going up. Go to the next hand. All right, there's 2 limps. We got a suited 1-gapper. Fuck it. Let's make it 20. Let's go. Everybody folds. All right, sweet. On to the next one. Next hand, we got a limp. We bump up the 8s up to $15. We get a bunch of callers. We were taking this flop 4 ways. We flop another set on 8-6-3 rainbow. Action checks to me. I'm going to check it because I think my opponents are going to fold 6s and 3s if I put in even $3 here. So we're going to go for the check. I'm kidding. We're going to go for the check raise. We're just blocking all their top pair continues. Bet here is just, we're just going to get too many folds. So let them catch up a little bit and we'll go from there. Action checks all the way through. So off to a turn. It's an okay one, the 10 of spades. So 7-9 did get there. But now there's a flush draw for people to continue with and a new top pair. Middle position now puts in a bet of $15. All right, folks, let's try to make him fold pocket 6s. We raise it on up to $50. Just trying to get a little bit of value, you know? We're still super deep. Cutoff folds, button folds, and middle position, folds. Damn it. All right, there's a straddle. We bump up the ace-queen off up to $15, and we take it down pre-flop onto the next one. Alrighty, we've got a little bit of a weaker hand, but that doesn't really matter at this table. There are 2 limps. Somebody's raised up to $10. I look down at queen jack offsuit. Everything in this hand screams weakness, so I'm going to pounce on that. I bump it up to $30. Both the limpers make the call, and so does the hijack. We're shutting it down, boys. We're shutting it down. These guys have the nuts. Flop comes down, ace-7-4 rainbow. Check, check. Hijack now leads for $65. We fold. Under the gun +1 reships it, and under the gun +1 had ace-jack suited, going for the limp call. Oh my goodness, and manages to stack hijacks, whatever the hell he had. So, yeah. All right, on to the next one. We got king 10 off in the cutoff, bumping on up to $10. All 3 players make the call. All right, we're taking a 4-way flop out of position, and it comes down pretty nice. 10-5-4 rainbow. Action checks to me, and button just hasn't stabbed any time I've checked to him. A little bit on the tighter side, so I'm not going to rely on him betting and going for the check raise. We're just going to have to do the betting ourselves. So, $15. And now surprisingly, he raises it up, but it's very small, just at $35. Action folds back to me, and consider 3-betting, but it just seems a bit too thin. We're going to run into ace-10 a lot, I think. We're going to run into sets a lot. We're going to run into some like 5-4. And he might even just fold. I don't know, jack-10 or whatever. But anyways, could fold as well. It's not totally unreasonable versus this lineup, but I decide just on the most standard option, we just make the call. Off the turn, it's a nice one. It's a 9 of diamonds, introducing backdoor flush draw, but doesn't really change the nuts too much. Maybe he has 10-9. I check it over, and my opponent checks behind. So now I think he's either got a weak top pair or 7-6, right? Going for the tiny raise to stop me from betting the turn. And then the river comes down to 7 of spades. So I think all of his hands are going to be weaker top pairs than mine. And then 7-6. So all his range is pairs. and we've got a very strong one. So I think we're just gonna go for a slight overbet here and see if we can get paid by like 7-6. See if he like hero calls us. We have been bluffing like crazy. Almost every hand I'm involved in, there's big bets. So $120 is my wager. He tanks. About 30 seconds go by. He says, I call. That is good news. I roll it over. He has the 10-7 offsuit. Ah! Oh my goodness. I think we almost got him to fold that. No, I'm kidding. He's never folding that. But remember, I was talking about check raising or raising top pairs earlier. You do not raise top pairs when somebody bets into 3 players, right? When it's that multi-way, you're just not looking to raise, right? You're looking to raise against a range bet. But anyways, it works out for him. He wins a $350 pot. All right, let's get back in the game. All right, we're opening up the 9-8 of diamonds under the gun. We get a caller from the button as well as the hijack as well as the small blind. So we're going 3 ways to a flop, and we're hitting flops today, folks. We get a top pair on 8, 7, 3, 2 clubs, and a spade. Now small blind goes for the lead of $10, tiny little lead, and he's been doing this way too often. We have a very vulnerable top pair. We want to hammer in some money right now. Don't want to go too big. So I'm just going to go with $25. This is a very exploitative size. I don't want him folding 7-5 offsuit or whatever he has here. Probably not offsuit. He's probably like 7-5 of hearts. I don't want him to fold that. Usually in this spot, I'd bump it up to like maybe 45, 50. But now hijack, a very tight lady, makes the call. And so does small blind. So we're shutting it down. I don't think our hand is good anymore. I'm just going to try and get the showdown as cheap as possible. Turn comes down, the queen of hearts. Small blind checks. I'm going to continue my plan. I am not bluffing. I check, and then hijack checks behind. It's pretty good so far. River comes down, the ace of spades. Not my favorite card. I think hijack's going to have like some nut flush draws in a range. You know, like ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack of clubs, ace, 10 of clubs, ace, 7 of clubs, all that stuff. Small blind checks. I go ahead and check, and now she fires out a bet of $30. Small blind folds. This is a big mistake. Because, folks, I'm not letting them get away with this anymore. If I raise here, she will fold ace, queen of clubs. I swear. I swear. It might actually happen. But most of all, we are targeting her ace 10, ace 9, ace 6, ace 5 of clubs. This is, you know, just the way the hand played out, it seems this is exactly what she has. Check back turn with a nut flush draw. River's a top pair, goes for a tiny bet, and then we pile $120 in the poor woman's face. I'm sorry, miss. And she holds her hand, gets cards, puts them up like this, starts tapping them on the table. You know that's a good sign. Please don't flick it in last second. She gives it a bit more thought. Oh, it's tense. It's tense. I'm not sure if it's going to work. But it does. She folds. We get it through. We're going to pick this pot up. Whew. That was a close one. Alrighty, on to the next one. We have a couple limps. Low jack has raised to 15. Don't really want to 3-bet him. He's going to continue with hands that dominate us, and he's going to fold all the ones that we dominate. So just going to call here in position, and we actually go 4 ways to a flop, which is not bad. It is queen, jack, deuce, rainbow. Action checks the original raiser, who puts in a tiny bet of $15. Folks, I am once again going to choose violence. There's no other option at this table. I raise it on up to $45. Under the gun +1 folds. Under the gun +2 snap shoves $250. Oh, brutal. Low jack is in the tank. Ends up folding. I don't even think about it at this table. I just snap fold. And we got bluffed. A man had king 10 offsuit. Pretty tough to sniff that one out. If someone who was on tilt, I could possibly make that call. But at this table, we're not calling ace highs. All right. Nice hand, fella. We've got a beautiful looking suited Broadway king jack of clubs from under the gun +1, bumping on up to $10. Low jack now 3-bets us to $35, and when it's back on us, this man limp called ace jack suited and is now 3-betting the most aggressive player at the table for a big size too. So if ace jack suited doesn't even make it into a raise, so here's like the hands, right? We got ace king, ace queen, ace jack suited. Ace jack suited isn't even a raise. So that means ace queen suited might be a raise. That means ace king suited might be a 3-bet, but probably not. I think this man has aces crushed. So obviously we're just going to fold. Do not pay the nits. We've got ourselves a limp, and we bump up the ace-6 of clubs next to act in early position up to $15. Get a caller from middle position as well as the big blind, and the limper folds. So 3 ways to a flop. Comes down all right. It's king 10 for 1 club. I'm going to go ahead and c-bet here. Just going to be betting a lot more often on this table. So 15 bucks. Middle position does make the call, and big blind folds. Off to the turn, looking for a club, and it comes down the jack of spades. We do pick up a gut shot here, and I think about continuing, but almost all his hands here have picked up equity. You know, if he's got a 10, he's got 10-9. Now he's got a gutter. If he's got, obviously the gutter's no good, but just saying. Right, if he has jack 10, he's improved. He's got queen 10, king queen. He's improved to an open ender as well. So I think the best course of action here with our hand, we still want to bluff, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving up on bluffing, you guys. Not at this table. I think we check it over. We find out if he has a king, which we'll bet, or if he has a 10, which we'll check. And then we will bluff the 10s, and we will fold to the kings. That's my plan. I go ahead and check. Opponent checks behind. Green light. We're at a stop sign. All 3 lights are green, especially when the river comes down the 9 of clubs. Any queen is now a straight, and we just get to get a super cheap bluff here. He's going to fold 10-8. He's going to fold his 10-7 suited, his ace-10, whatever it may be, for just $25. Gives it a little bit of thought. We do manage to get it through. Very nice. All right, guys, look at this. We've got pocket 4s in the big blind. We're at a 9-handed table. Everybody has put in $3. Should I do it? Should I be evil? How much would I even raise this to? I've never been in this spot before. 8 limps. So my normal size against 2 limps would be like 20. This would be like 35, 40 bucks. Nah, let's just knuckle it back. We're gonna check. Flop comes down. Okay, 6-5 deuce. Now I'm really wishing I raised, cleared out the field a bit. We got ourselves a straight flush draw. I'm gonna check this one. Now the super nit bets up for $15. Lady makes the call. Back on us. We should just be turbo mucking this. I've got a straight flush draw. I can't help myself, guys. We're gonna throw $15 away, try to hit our straight flush. We've already hit quads today. What's another straight flush? And the other 2 players fold. Off to the turn. We hit our straight with 3 of diamonds. I check, and now he puts out $45. Oh my god, guys, I should just fold. This guy doesn't even have 10-9 of spades. He has ace-x of spades only. He only has a nut flush here. Why did I put in this $45? I don't know. I just convinced myself that maybe he's got 6s, 5s, deuces, betting once more, and then going to check back the river. But no! I knew in my head that he's not even going to bet 10-9 of spades, so he's definitely not going to bet a set. Foolishly donate $45 to this man. River comes down the 8 of hearts. I check. He puts in a bet of $101. I fold. He shows the ace of spades. I know your other card is a spade too. Come on. All right, that was $60 we did not need to lose. Learn from my mistakes. The very next shuffle, we pick up ace king off suits. Button has straddled, and we're going to bump it up to $15. Unfortunately, do go pretty multi-way. Nobody's re-raising. We're going 5 ways to a flop, which comes down very similar to the last flop. It's 7-5 deuce this time, all spades. I check, and somebody throws out a bet $15. It's so tiny. If I had a spade, we would cause a ruckus, but without one, we will behave. We fold. Just 3 shuffles later, we have the same hand, and the button straddle is on, and we're not in the blinds. What a time to be alive. There's a limper from the big blind. I bump it on up to $20. We get a call from the button, and the big blind folds. Heads up to a flop, which is terrible. It's 8-7-3, 2 hearts and a spade. See no sense in betting here. Against very good regs, I would bet here, because you can get value from worse ace highs, some draws, etc. Ace king is definitely a value bet. Maybe not out of position. Maybe it just in position. Yeah, never mind. I wouldn't bet this against a reg. But versus this guy, he's never going to call ace, queen, ace, jack. So we go to check. Happy to see my opponent check back. Turn comes down, the jack of clubs. Could go for a small protection bet, but I'm just going to check. And happy to see him check once again. River comes down. The queen of clubs, once again, going to check. Once again, my opponent checks. I announce ace high. It is definitely good. We're scooping in a $47 pop. We got ourselves another button straddle. Small blind and big blind have limped. I looked down at queen 9 of clubs and the low jack. Looks semi-connected. They're the same suit. I'm in a table full of nits. We're gonna pump it up. 25 bucks. Let's go. Button makes a call. Small blind calls and big blind folds off to a flop 3 ways. Pretty nice. It's Jack 8-5 rainbow. Got a backdoor flush draw. We got a gutter. So gonna kick things off with a bet. And this clears out the button, but small blind does continue. Off to the turn we go, and it's a little bit connected. It's a 7 of spades. So we do pick up a... I didn't even realize this in game. We actually pick up a double gutter. Oh my goodness, we were double gutted. I didn't realize that until now. Now small blind goes for a tiny lead. Once again, it's $15. This is like 10% pot, maybe a little bit more. So when it's this small, 10% or lower, you can kind of just treat them as checks. So I was originally just going to pot it because the pot, before his $15 bet, is 130 in the middle, 450 behind. It's about 4x what he has behind. It's the pot. When that's the case, you want to pot. So you pot the turn. That'll be 130 times 3 will be 390. He will have, I don't know, like 360 or whatever it is behind 340. So when he gets the river, it's also another pot. You want to go pot, pot. So when SPR is 4, remember, it's always pot. But obviously, only when you're perfectly polarized. So I'm only betting straights and gutters here. Anyways, we're going to pot it. 125 bucks. Let's go. And we sent him deep into the tank. He is thinking it over. Really hoping I didn't run into like 6-9 here, 6-4. We blocked 10-9 and 6-9, which is really nice. Originally, I did not think that 9-6 was a straight. I thought like 6-4 was, and then 10-9 were the only ones I had to worry about. But anyways, you only want to do this with gutters and then you're nuts, right? You don't want to go this big when you've got, let's see, I guess a hand like mine, right? You're double gutted. It's too much equity to have to bet pot and then fold to a jam if they do jam. But it doesn't come to that. Our opponent just folds. Guys, we're going to start showing some bluffs because I need to start getting paid. We do table this one. Not too many hands later, I pick up ace-jack offsuit, raise up to 15. The same opponent that I just bluffed and showed my hand to has made the call on the big blind. We go heads up to a flop. Please let me hit. He is not going to believe me. It comes down 9-3 rainbow. So beautiful. He checks to me. And if it's a little bit more disconnected, like Jack 8 or Jack 7-3, I would probably go for the overbet. But Jack 9-3, just going to size down just a little bit here. I still want to keep him in. I don't think he's going to believe me, and he might float me a little bit lighter if I size down and don't get too greedy. So 20 bucks, he just folds. Guys, I am done with this session. That was enough for me. We end up racking up. It's just a bit too tight, and we book a pretty sizable win here. Let me take a look. We won $360. Not bad. It was a decently short session, but my goodness, we just could not get paid. My goal for next session is to get a full double up. It's been a while, but we are due. But yeah, that is it, folks. We were down minus $2,544 in the challenge. We won $360 plus a $270 high hand bonus. I'm including that because I pay the rake for it anyways. So we won 630 bucks today, which brings us to minus $1,914 for the challenge. Guys, we've won like $1,000 in the last 4 sessions. It's great. It's going good. Going back up. That is it for me, guys. Don't forget about the Raise to 10 training on June 6th, 3 p.m. Pacific. It will be in the comments below. Guys, please like this video. It means a lot to me. The views have not been too good. Just click the like button. Thank you. I'll see you at the Raise to 10 thing. It's going to be fun. Bring the same energy. See you guys there. Go get some sleep.